This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This your boy Black Magus and Super Bowl 51. Quite possibly the greatest Super Bowl, at least in my lifetime, if not ever. And I'm not afraid to say that. I mean, everybody who knows me knows I'm not a fan of the New England Patriots or Tom Brady. I am one of those people who question the merits of people calling him the greatest quarterback of all time. But that's a whole nother story. I will say this. He definitely has cemented himself as one of the greatest of all times. I know a lot of people are going to want to throw, the GOAT tag on him because he won the fifth Super Bowl, which no one has ever done. But, there's arguments for and against. Let me just put it that way. And then let me move on. If you guys want to comment about it, feel free. I'm going to pretty much not get into that argument right now because it's not the argument that is going to be made in this video. In fact, there's no real argument in this video to be made. I mean, real is real. The Patriots pulled off the greatest comeback ever in Super Bowl history. We had our first overtime game in Super Bowl history, and shit, it was a crazy, amazing game. It was looking like it was a throwaway game, and that was something that was kind of incredible, amazing, and bewildering to a lot of us because over the years we've recognized the New England Patriots as one of the greatest teams of our time, if not the greatest team of our time, because their level of consistency has just been amazing. I personally credited that to Bill Belichick. He has done an amazing job of retooling that team and keeping it relevant, making sure that every year, year in, year out, they're competing at a top level. All the pieces that they swap, all of that is that he just keeps that engine running. He's an amazing coach. I think he's probably the best coach ever in NFL history. At least he's looking like it right now. And it's like, hey, even as somebody who don't like them, I give credit where credit is due. You know what I mean? So, coming to this game, looking at it, first half, the Atlanta Falcons seemed to be dominant. Now, it's funny because I was talking to a Patriots fan, and one of the things I was saying to him around halftime, because he was pretty much done with the game midway through the third quarter, especially after Atlanta put up the 28-3 score. He was ready to turn it off, and he asked the question, like, is Atlanta really this good, or is this team really that bad, or are teams that play against them that bad? And I was just like, right now, it doesn't matter what the answer is. It's not looking good for the Patriots. He was like, I want a real answer. So I gave him a real answer. That real answer was, at that point in time of the game, Atlanta was showing to be a more disciplined team. I think between the two teams, when it comes to their defenses, neither defense are exemplary or great. What both of their defenses do well, and especially New England over the years, is that they play disciplined football. They play their parts, they play their positions, they play their areas very, very well. They know what their schemes are, they know what they're supposed to do. They know that they don't have the best talent in the world, but they understand what they have to do, and they play their jobs very, very well. And between the two of them, Atlanta was playing the more discipline. They were doing the better job of staying at home, of covering the gaps. Even when they were getting beat, they were stopping the Patriots. Like, you would see the Patriots move the ball pretty well, but Atlanta was not. It was a little bit of bend, but definitely no break, because they were cutting them short at first downs and things like that. And the Patriots would get 30, 40 yards, get to midfield, and have to punt. They would slow down. They held their ground. They stayed in check. They did what they had to do. They put pressure on Brady, and they made him uncomfortable, made him miss passes, things like that. But one of the things that you started to notice, and one of the things that ended up playing out, and we found out once we looked at the post-game stats, was that even though Atlanta was not allowing New England to punch it in, they were allowing New England to pull off big drives, and a couple of those big drives were ended with turnovers. So it was like New England would get 40, 50, sometimes 60 yards. They would get within striking distance. Then maybe a fumble, a sack. You had the Brady pick six and all of that. It was like they would get New England would get to a point where they would be their forward momentum was carrying very well, and then they would just roll the fuck back. You know what I mean? It's like they hit a certain point, and it was like, oops, we got to rewind this. And that was pretty much the first half and the first half of the third quarter. But one of the key things was in making those drives, their time of possession. And time of possession can have a very adverse effect on a defense, especially if you're not like a lights out defense, which I never thought the Atlanta Falcons were. So, they pretty much wore the Atlanta defense out to where once you got late into the third quarter, you started to see that war of attrition started to play out. The Patriots being able to move the ball was wearing on Atlanta. Atlanta's discipline was breaking down, and it was showing that while Atlanta's offense were able to have a couple of big plays and were able to break the discipline of New England, New England's defense, not having to spend as much time on the field, they were able to sit back, they were able to figure things out, and they were able to collect themselves. Where Atlanta, they broke down, New England gathered themselves, and their discipline started to show more. So Atlanta wasn't really moving the ball that great like people may have thought. It was just that because they had, so many big plays in the first half, like the Freeman run. He had a couple of runs where he made some tremendous cuts and gashed the defense. Julio Jones was making some tremendous catches. What's his name? Gilbert. He made some great catches and moves and things like that. It was like there were a couple of big plays that put those points up on the board for Atlanta, including the turnovers. But overall, it wasn't like their offense was just destroying New England. I never thought that at any point. It was a couple of times where had they just maintained drives, they would have been able to close them out, get field goals and stuff, but they would mess up. Sacks were given up, things like that, get caught in the backfield. So they kind of gave up. Their offense kind of gave up some points at a certain point. Whereas, again, New England, they kept pecking away, and then the time of possession just started to really take hold. And, it took a lot for Brady to get them back in that game because you look at it, he threw 62 times. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, wow, he had over 400 yards. Like, this man threw the ball 62 times. I mean, goddamn. Their running game wasn't really doing that much for them. The screens were their running game. But, it wore the Atlanta defense thin, and they started making the comeback, and the Atlanta offense wasn't keeping the defense off the field long enough to recuperate, and it just let Brady and them churn them down, till they finally ground them down at the end. They tied the game. We get to the first overtime, and of course, with New England getting the ball first after already wearing them the fuck out, Atlanta, was just hanging on the road. It was the fucking Thriller in Manila, New England had just let Atlanta's defense punch themselves out and exasperate themselves to where once we got to that final round, shit, what was Atlanta going to do? They couldn't stop New England's offense at all. They weren't making the disciplined plays like they were early on. And boom, New England punched it in, wins the Super Bowl. Brady gets his 5th. Congratulations to the New England Patriots. Sucks to be you, Roger Goodell, because you took a huge L in that trophy ceremony because everybody was hating on you for what you did to Tom Brady. Mind you, I don't think what he did to Tom Brady was that bad. I do think it was excessive, the 4 games, but, the punishment, he needed to be punished. I just wouldn't say 4 games. That's just me. Because if you got caught and they said that you were cheating, hey, take your medicine. But the medicine was a little too strong, and that's where Roger Goodell caught that L because the 4 games was probably way too much in that instance. But it is what it is. It didn't hurt New England. This is why I say Bill Belichick is just an amazing coach because you lose who everybody swears is the greatest quarterback of all times for 4 games. You still end up with one of the best records of the year, even though he wasn't around. And mind you, those 4 games, they only lost one of them, I believe, they only lost one of them without him. So 3 of the losses that they had in the season came with him at the helm. Think about that. Just shows you how amazing Belichick is. But shit, hey, great game. They earned it. They earned the fuck out of that win. Nobody can say anything about this Super Bowl and try to say like New England cheated or anything like that. I mean, the worst you can say about this Super Bowl is that Atlanta choked big time. It just seems to be something about Atlanta sports because as a Braves fan, I know too well about moments of choking. The Minnesota Twins series still fucking, to this day, just exasperates me how they lost that. But yeah, Atlanta's going to catch some heat. Patriots get all the glory right now. It is what it is. So congratulations, New England fans. 5th Super Bowl. I believe that puts you in the tie with the Dallas Cowboys now. You're right behind the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have the most. And you did it in grand fashion, so good on you. Good on you. But sad, football season's over. No more football for the year. Hey, at least I got college basketball, but some of you guys might not be into other sports like that, so college basketball or pro basketball or baseball isn't going to do it for you. So you got to wait till August when preseason starts up again to get your fix. But hey, heck of a season. Fun ride. Great game. Well, what more can you ask? You know what I mean? But anyway, as always, you guys feel free. Hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Makers, and I'm out, y'all. Deuces.